Friday is here with us. It is Mind Shift Friday. Every Friday, we engage in interesting conversations to shift our thinking and to question some of the things we hear and to find solutions to some of the things we face. Today, we talk about potential versus productivity. We've got two amazing guests joining me in studio via Zoom. We have got transformative life coach, Dr. Bola Tofawa. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. Always good to see you.
Yes, it's good to see you too. It's good to have you back again on the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Awesome. We also have life coach and corporate trainer, Steve. Steve, how are you doing? Steve Kigwa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very fine.
Good to see you.
Karibu sana. It's been a while.
Yeah. I don't know what I did. You decided to write me off.
The Lord has heard your cry, my friend. The Lord heard your cry.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Let me begin with Dr. Bola. Potential productivity. How do we define the two? Are they one and the same thing, or are they different?
So thank you for asking. Potential productivity, they are not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that they are part of an equation.
Okay.
But I think we're missing a big part of it. But just to simplify, potential I think of as input, what you have in you, what you're capable of, what you're prepared to do,
mm-hmm.
in simple terms. And productivity then is your output. We measure it in maybe rate. How much are you producing? How much tea can you make? How many people's lives can you change, hopefully? But I think what's missing then is the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, potential times productivity gives you potential times purpose gives
mm-hmm.
you productive impact. And I think we ought not to be talking about productivity. We ought to be talking about productive impact. But you can only do that if you talk about purpose in addition to your potential.
Okay.
That's a lot of peace. Hopefully we can get all this peace together through this show.
We are having peace today.
Yeah.
Stephen, do you have a different thought, or you agree with what Dr. is saying?
Well, maybe I take a different detour to it. For me, potential is futuristic. It is in the future. It's what you can be, but you haven't become. It's what you can do, you haven't done. It's where you can go, you haven't gone.
Mm-hmm.
But productivity is now. It's now. It's what you can do now. Potential is future, what you can become, but productivity is now.
So can potential actually be measured? Because sometimes we talk so much about potential, but I'm just wondering, Dr. Bola, how do you quantify potential? How do you even know what potential lies in someone? Because it's not tangible, you can't see it. So how do you measure potential?
Okay, so thanks for asking. Of course, you throw this question to a PhD, I'm going to give you variables to quantify it. But for me, when I think of potential, I think of at least 4 buckets where
mm-hmm.
you can try to quantify, yeah? Again, for me, potential is about what you're capable of. You know, what can you do? So the first thing is knowledge. What
mm-hmm.
information do you have in your head? That's one part. Another thing is skills. What have you been trained to do, or what do you want to learn to do? Then another part is experience. How long have you been experienced? So for instance, Pastor, you are an experienced Bible teacher. That's
mm-hmm.
experience, yeah? And then you have confidence. Do you actually believe? We've seen our last president in the US, Donald Trump, he had confidence. Forget skills, knowledge, experience. He had confidence. So for me, those are 4 buckets you can think about potential. But remember, I said potential is only part of the equation. I actually believe potential is only 25% of your productive impact. So even if you have all the skills, your knowledge, your experience, your confidence, you only have 25% of the equation of productive impact.
I like how you've broken it down into those 4 things: knowledge, skill, experience, and confidence. Because I've met people, just like you've given the example of former President Trump, I've met people who have so much confidence, their knowledge is a bit limited, their skills may be neither here nor there, but their confidence is way up there, and they seem to get more opportunities than other people who are better skilled or who have even more knowledge. And so my question would be, when it comes to potential, how can one begin to identify what they're carrying on the inside of them? Because you have people who feel like They don't have anything. They're the people who are waiting for their knight in shining armor to come and rescue them. You know, I mean, they're always looking from without them. Who will come and rescue me from my misery? But then there are other people, you know, who are able to do something. So how does one begin to recognize what they carry on the inside of them?
Good question. You're always sharp, Pastor. You're firing on all bullets. Let's see. So that is a good question because everyone resonates with that. I resonate with that. I resonate with when is someone going to see me?
Yes.
Because I think I can do this, but no one has seen me. And I also resonate with, yes, I have knowledge. I have a Harvard PhD. I'm ready to change the world. And all that was noise. It's just noise. Because what I really believe is purpose, and that's innate. And purpose is what you need to figure out. Because I said earlier, potential is 25%. The other 75% is purpose. You need to figure out not just what are you capable of, not just what are you prepared to do, not just the skills, knowledge, experience, confidence, all that is potential 25%. Focus on your purpose, the 75%. And you know, I have my 5 P's for purpose, and there is work in figuring out your purpose. But I believe it's worth it. It's worth it to figure out not just what can you do, what are you prepared to do, but what were you created for? That's where it's at. And of course, under purpose, you have God's timing. You cannot ignore God's timing, because I can sit here and be experienced and skilled and have confidence, but if it's not God's timing, it will not take off. Remember is it Jehoshaphat? That's such a King Jehoshaphat and his ship. He had all that ship ready, blazing. He had the confidence, he had the knowledge, skills, he had partnerships, he had all the network, all that. But God said, who are you building this for? You've made alignment and allies with things that are not aligned with my purpose. All those ships never took off. Don't be like King Jehoshaphat and put all your eggs, your future, your everything into what's 25%. Focus on the 75% and what's God saying about you, your timing, your pain, your proclivity, your past, your prophet, your prophecy, your purpose. What is your purpose? Because that's where productive impact comes from.
Wow. That's a mouthful for me to think through.
Happy Friday, Pastor. Happy Friday.
I'm telling you, you've said a lot in a short time. You've said quite a lot. Let's paint a picture here, because I find that you have 3 kinds of people. You have people who have no idea the potential they carry. And so they're just there. You have the second group of people. These are people who know the potential they have, but it's not amounted to anything. They're the kind of people who are always talking big and doing very little. And then there's the third person who knows the potential they have, and they pursue to bring it forth, and they're very productive. So my question is, what's the difference between these 3 people? What's the different mindsets they have? You know, because if it's in there, why is it that one is able to know it's there and use it, another one knows it's there, but they're not doing much about it, another one is oblivious of the fact that they have something? What's the different mindsets?
So good question. So for us at Mizima Life, we actually equip women in their midlife to do just what you said. The first stage, you have no idea. And for me, like, I was in my mid-30s and I had worked in health, in communication, real estate. I done all this stuff. But I just felt like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not sure where to be. I was oblivious, you know, had knowledge, had experience, had skills, confidence, all that stuff. That's 25% oblivious. And what was lacking was purpose. You need to take time to, the biggest thing for purpose is finding time to reflect, because your purpose is already in you. Finding a good guide. You cannot find your purpose yourself. You cannot look in the mirror and say, yeah, I see you. You are my right ear. You cannot find purpose yourself. Find a good guide, a good coach whose values you align with to help you find your purpose. Because it takes time, it takes energy, it's in you. So that's the first group. Find your purpose. That's what's missing. That's what you're oblivious about. The second group, I think you said, they were working, but they're not producing anything. Is that the second group?
They know they have potential, but they do a lot of talking and very little of doing.
So for me, that's, sorry to say, back to former President Trump. We're talking, we're going to build that wall. All those things he talked about, great confidence. But remember, confidence is only 1/4 of potential. He didn't have the knowledge, he didn't have the skills or the experience. So you're doing a whole lot of talking, which is great confidence. But again, do you have the purpose part? Is this what God has aligned you to do in this time? If you don't do that, you're just blowing air.
Yeah.
Like Ecclesiastes, evil, you're just blowing air. We're not seeing anything coming out of it. And the last part is somebody you are seeing things coming out. I think that's the third group you talked about. We're actually seeing results.
Yes.
And we're not just seeing results, we're actually seeing impact. We're seeing some people were like, you know, like the boy who harnessed the wind. How did he do that? How did this little boy just know and he's just taken off? It's because he knows not only what is he capable of, but he is aligned with what he was meant to do on earth at a time such as this. What are you meant to be doing in this pandemic, in this December 2020? We only have weeks to the end of the year.
Yes.
What are you meant to be doing in this season? I dare say, if you have not figured it out, yet, you are blowing air. You're just blowing air. 2022, you blow air again. You keep blowing air until you figure out what are you meant to do right now.
I love, you've mentioned The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. That's an amazing movie. And I want to use that to ask a question concerning where we are at, even as a people, even as a nation. Because from that movie, you know, one little boy recognized the potential. You know, the other villagers were waiting for somebody to rescue them. But this boy went over and above. You know, his father thought you're crazy, but he was able to do something that changed an entire community. And so my question is, looking at even us as a nation, as Kenyans, you know, we have so much potential. Sometimes you visit other countries and you see how much they're doing with the little they have, and you come back home and you're thinking, what's wrong with us? So that's the question. What's wrong with us?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a big question. Yes. I don't think the question is what's wrong with us. I think the question is what is right with us. I mean, allow me to disagree with you a little bit, Pastor. I am a foreigner, right?
Yes.
I wasn't born in Kenya. I was born in Nigeria, lived in the US.
Yes.
I came to Kenya and I'm ashamed to admit it, but I will admit it because, you know, I'm going to heaven. I'm not going to hell. I'm not going to lie. I came here and I thought, what is wrong with these people? They're so quiet. Why are they not talking? You know, Nigerians be like, shout. Why are these people not talking? I'm not hearing them. But you know, that was the wrong focus. The right question is, what is right with these people? How can a country at the time about 40 million people can change the world? M-Pesa has changed the world.
Yeah.
The fact that you're able to do mobile transfer, you leapfrog technology. That put Kenya on the map. Millions of people have come. My people, Nigerians have come, Americans have come, Indians have come.
Yeah.
To figure out how did you do it. But how did you do it was you stood and you said, what's the pain that we have as a country? The pain we have is we're not able to transfer money. And we have people outside and inside not able to transfer money. Then you thought about what are we good at? Kenya is great with technology. ICT is off the charts.
Yes.
You also said, what are we good at? What do we have in our hands? You know, like God told Moses, what's in your hands? The other thing you said is what's in our hands. You said young people, we have youth. They are creative, they're innovative. Let's start thinking outside the box. Then you also said, what will make us profit? Because at the end of the day, you know, we would like to be abundant. You know, the Bible says you need to lend to others, but to lend to others, you need to make money. So profit. You are not giving away M-Pesa. Yeah. There has to be profit behind it. M-Pesa is, I think, the number one tax generating business, you know, revenue companies, M-Pesa. You need to make money. And then you align with yourself with what did God say. I will never forget this. I think President Uhuru's term, when he came into office, I remember I was sitting in a healthcare field at the time, representing a private healthcare sector. We were called to come in and meet with the president before he started anything. But before he met with us, President Uhuru met with the elders in all the religious community. That was the first thing he did before business. Yeah. And that's something Kenya has. You are very aligned with what God is saying, what God is doing. That's prophecy. That's a big part of purpose. The president as a leader said, let's hear from God before we go to business. So the question is, what's right with you? What's prophecy saying? What's prophet saying? What's proclivity saying? What's pain saying? And what's in your past? Because, you know, Kenya also has had a really harsh past. Yeah. But you've used that pain from the past to push you into the future. So I would say to everyone listening, don't focus on what's wrong. Focus on what do you have in your hands? What am I good at? What do I see? What do people seem to call me for? What kind of advice are they calling me for? go with that. Start with that.
I think that's a powerful lesson. That's a wonderful lesson, because the tendency is to look at what's wrong with us and what we do not have. And I think in doing so, then we can't even identify the potential we have. Because once we begin to think about what we are good at, you know, and the good in us, then we begin to see possibilities and we begin to harness that potential.
Yes. Harness potential. That's the takeaway from this. How can I, before the end of this year, what can I do to harness potential? That's what Pastor has said to do. We will follow what he said.
I've got Collins here who says, I feel like I'm in a PhD class. It reminds me of quantitative methods. The topic is great. I'm enjoying. I agree that purpose is the determinant of our output, but potential is necessary. That is so true. Okay, if you have any questions for us today, 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786316316. We are hanging out with Dr. Bola Tofawa, transformative coach. We were also hanging out with Steve Kigwa, but his connection seemed to be having a problem. We're still trying to see if we can get to reconnect with him. So if you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to send them in right now. So back to the conversation, Dr. Bola. There's a question here on opportunities and potential. And somebody is asking, what do you do when no one seems to give you the opportunity to showcase your potential?
That's a good question. You have potential, you have it, you know it, but you don't know what to do when no one is giving you the potential.
Yeah.
I still go back to what's in your hand. First of all, whoever's asking the question, again, I want to say, don't just focus on potential, focus on purpose. Because maybe you're focusing on potential, you're thinking I should run for president, and that's not quite what's in your timing right now, what heaven is saying. So make sure you spend time to know your purpose. And then what's in your hand? God always gives us something to work with. There's always somewhere to start. Start with that. What are you passionate about? You don't even have to be good at it. You don't have to, as you can tell, I'm passionate about talking. I'm not the best at it, but I just love to talk. Call me to talk, I'll do it, especially to talk about God. So what are you passionate about? What can you think about that you just wake up and you just want to do? And how can you think about making money from that? What causes you pain? What do you think about when you think about discontentment? What are you unhappy with the world? And don't give up. You know, like the song that just played was about being brave.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Keep going out there. You know, it takes a long time sometimes for you to get your shine, but don't dim your light just because your shine is not here yet.
Okay. So the other question I would throw in regards to that is that, okay, there's purpose, but then if nothing is done with the purpose, and not purpose, but rather potential, there's potential. If nothing is done with the potential, it just remains dormant. It's just there, you know. And sometimes we don't do anything about our potential because no one gave us an opportunity. So as I wait for an opportunity, what am I supposed to be doing so that I'm able to harness this potential? Because if I don't do anything about it, it will just remain there dormant. What do I do in the meantime?
That's a great question. And I love the harness. Again, if you don't hear anything today, harness your potential, activate your purpose. So I would say just that, you know, if you're waiting for potential, for opportunity, which I also think is the wrong thing to do. We're not meant to be sitting around waiting. Again, look at the good book. There's nobody in the Bible that God came to call on to do work while they were waiting. Moses was not sitting around sleeping. He was watching the sheep. So was David. He was watching the sheep. So was everybody. Zechariah was in the temple. The disciples, they were fishing. Start with something. God does not like laziness.
Yes.
When you're doing nothing, start with something. Serve. Ask Pastor here, how can I serve you? You're an elder in my community. I'm not saying you're old, Pastor. I'm just saying that, you know, you are a wise man. You're a wise man. How can I spend time serving? Find ways to serve, because again, I was asked to serve, and that's how I figured out I love to speak. Somebody asked me to preach in church, and I said, me? I'm sitting in the back. How did you even see me?
Yeah.
But I didn't say no. I served for free. I wasn't paid. I just said, okay, let me start speaking. Start with what's in your hand. Everybody is good with something. You did not come on earth without a seed from heaven. Start with what's in your hand. Don't wait for an opportunity. Start serving. Serve your family. Serve your neighbor. Serve the tea lady. You know, serve the askari, serve. You're meant to serve God's people, and we're all God's people. Serve.
Great. This is who? This is Masharia. Masharia is in Thika. It says, actively learning from you. Thank you for the good work. Can Dr. Bola explain the other 75, since potential is only 25? And then tell her to take us slowly. You're too fast. Take us slowly. I'm sure you hear that a lot.
What can I say? It's the Nigerian American in me. We're just fire.
Yes.
Fire. But
let me combine that question with another one, because I think they tie in. You know, the 75%, because somebody else is talking about purpose and how to know it. How do you discover your purpose? How do you know it? So tying in those two questions.
I'm sipping my tea, my eating tea, so I can also calm. Okay, because I get fired up about purpose. So let's see. Good question, Masharia. I can tell you're a sharp student and you're ready to shoot. If potential is 25%, purpose is 75%. Let's break down purpose. Let me put on mine so I can see very well.
Yes.
Let's break down purpose. Purpose has 5 parts. Yeah. Before I tell you the 5 parts, let me take you. The most thing to remember is you cannot figure out your purpose yourself.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. There's always blind spots. Yeah. So find a guide, find a coach, find me. I can help you. Okay. 5 things. Number 1 is past. What has been in your past? Because your purpose is innate. It's buried inside you. It's not something you just buy today. Buy one, get one free Black Friday promotion. It's already in you. So you need time to spend in your past. And for me, you need to go through what the events are of your past, good and bad, highs and lows of your past. You need to reflect through it because your purpose has been played out through your past. The second thing is pain. What has been causing you pain? And it doesn't have to be like, what almost killed me. It's just something that bothers you. For me, one of the things that bothers me is when you are not shining your light. As a Christian, you're just in the corner. That bothers me because that's aligned with my purpose, What causes you pain? The third thing to think about is proclivity. I'm going to say very slowly, proclivity. Proclivity is, what are you passionate about? What are you drawn to? What attracts you? Every time there's a speaker about potential and purpose and being your best, I'm attracted to that, I'm also attracted to food, by the way. I'm attracted to food. I like to eat. So maybe the food is my heavenly gift, but I digress. But start thinking through, what are you attracted to? Remember, I didn't say what you're good at.
No.
I'm not great at baking, but I can eat bread very well. What are you attracted to? The fourth thing is profit. Because, your gifts make room for you. You didn't come to earth to suffer. God did not intend for you to find your purpose and then suffer. Abraham was a very rich man. He was in purpose. So was Moses, so was David and Solomon, Deborah, all those people we see in the Bible. You need to think about profit and you need to get creative about it. Yeah, because times are changing. What we did in the past may not be what's going to bring you profit. And then let me just stay on this point for a second, because I come from a generation. I'm in my 40s. So people in our midlives, we come from a generation where our parents say, go to school for one thing and do the rest of your life. Get that good government job with benefits and pension, and stay there until you die. Die in your office. Apana, please don't do that. Please do not get that one job. I believe you have so many gifts, so many proclivities, so many pains and things in your past. Keep changing. Imagine if David died being a shepherd and he was never a king. Imagine if he just, played lyre for King Saul and he didn't go to be a king. There's so many things you can do. There's so many things that can bring you profit. The point is to reinvent yourself. Invest in a program that can help you reinvent yourself so you can get profit. And lastly, but definitely not least, is prophecy. Prophecy. You have to know what God is telling you to do in this season. And by the way, God speaks. He's still speaking. He has not said everything he needs to say, and it's in the Bible. The Bible is a big part of what he said, and whatever he's telling you now will never misalign with the Bible, but he's still speaking. Invest in a program that help you understand how God speaks to you, but make sure you get all 5 of the P: past, pain, proclivity, profit, and prophecy. It takes time, it takes energy. I looked for my purpose for years. I read books, I did all these things, but not until I started investing in a program, then I was like, look at me now. Look at me now, Pastor. Look at me now.
See your life.
Make sure you spend time. Exactly. See my life. See my life. I grew up focusing on potential, but you know, potential is not going to get you there. You need to focus on potential and purpose.
Okay. Before we run out of time, so I want you to take us through a process. It's kind of tying in everything we've talked about this morning. So how do I make that progression from potential to purpose to productivity? Give me some steps that I can begin to think about, a process I can begin to follow.
I can do that. And these are some of the steps that we talk about at Mizima Life, where we run a midlife program for women to find their purpose, but then come up with an action plan. So let me share with you, because you're a good friend of mine. I will share with everybody listening.
Yes.
So I will say 5 steps. 5 steps plus a bonus. Let me give a bonus. It's always good to give a bonus.
Yes.
Number 1, let's start with your purpose and your dream. Yeah. And you know, purpose, I already broke down purpose. Now, dream. Pastor, we have stopped dreaming. When you were younger, I know you wanted to change the world. I know you wanted to climb Kilimanjaro. You wanted to harness the wind, the sun, the moon, and the stars. But somehow we have stopped dreaming. Our dream these days are, I want to have a good house, get married, 3 children.
I think our dreams became nightmares.
Yeah, but that is not the song again that we listened to was Brave.
Yes.
You don't go to sleep just because you have a nightmare, you stop sleeping. You sleep again. Tomorrow another sleep is good. So number 1 is purpose and dream. Dream big, dream in detail. I have a whole program about that, but let's not go into. Number 2 is, once you have your purpose, which is your why. Your purpose is your why. Why are you alive? Why are you still here? And why? What triggers you to get up? Your purpose is your why. Then the second thing is your what. Your what, you need to focus on strategic plan. What is your build plan? What are you building? You're meant to build something in this world. Every single person is meant to build. You need to figure out what is the plan to build. That's your what. Number 3, then you need to come up with a fight plan. Because I'm so sorry to share with you, we live in a troubled world.
Yes.
You're not just going to be building, there'll be fight. So don't go out there and build without fighting. We saw that in Nehemiah. You build and fight.
Yes.
You need to know, who are you fighting? How are you fighting? Because we know that the art of war, the battle is already won before you even get to the battlefield. So have a fight plan. That's your number 3, your who. Number 4 then is the when. And I tell you, some of us don't get to productive impact. We don't get to see productive impact because we don't focus. Focus on your timing. Say, in this season, this is what I'm called to do. Again, back to David. He did the shepherd thing. He did it well. Then he did the music thing. He did it well. Then he ran. Hey, this man ran. He ran. He ran well. Then he became king. He became a good king. Focus on the timing. That's your when and your why now. What are you doing in this season? That's your number 4. Number 5, then you need to regulate your emotions, because I tell you, you are in the way.
Yes.
You are in the way. You need to regulate your emotions. You need to know when to fold, when to fly, when to write, when to sleep, when to rest. People like me, we don't like to rest. Regulate your emotions, because sometimes we get, when I love that this program is mind shift.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we need to figure out, we are in the way. You need to get out of your own way. And then my bonus is, you need to continue to dialogue with God daily. Don't assume you know God. Don't assume you already know. He told me to go, like Abraham, go, and you just keep going. My friend, he has told you to stop. You didn't listen.
Yes.
Stop going. So dialogue with God continuously, daily. Keep on talking to God, listening and talking to God. Those are 5 points plus a bonus for you to go from potential, purpose, and productivity. Impact.
I love it. I love it. As we wrap up, I think there's another important conversation that's a part of this process that you've told us that sometimes a lot of people ignore because what will be. And that's the conversation on setting goals. You know, setting goals, having a timeline, knowing what you want to achieve and a roadmap of how you intend to achieve it. Talk to us on the importance of that.
That is so important. This whole what will be, I don't know where we get it from, because as Christians, it's not in the Bible. Please
It's
show
not.
me. Is it 6 Corinthians chapter 45? There's nothing like what will be. You are meant to activate, harness. Not Dr. Pastor. Maybe I should call you, maybe that's prophetic. Pastor Dr. has told us to harness. Harness what you have, activate. What will be will not be. You need to figure out how to activate and harness it. And I say you definitely need to set goals. But again, when you set your goals, don't just wake up and say, January is coming. Let's set what are those things called, the beginning of the year? That doesn't work.
Resolutions.
That doesn't work. Resolutions. Thank you. You are such a erudite scholar. Resolutions. That's what they're called. They don't work because you have not spent time reflecting before you set the goals for the future. I am a big believer in reflecting. I have a journal that I give to my clients, that I sell to the public, that helps you to reflect.
Yeah.
They have powerful questions in the journal. Spend time thinking about your past, and that's what drives you to the future. Because I definitely believe your very next step, Pastor, your very next step is buried in your past step. Your very next step is buried in your past step. So you need to reflect, and then you need to dream big. Before you start setting goals, dream big. Have a huge plan. Like our good man from Kenya says, yes, you can. And I believe he went on to become a president of the United States.
Yeah.
He said, yes, you can. So start dreaming big, and then you can set your goals. You need to conceive, believe, and then achieve. Don't jump to achieve. Have you really conceived the idea? Do you believe you can? And then you can achieve it.
Final question. This one is a very honest one. This gentleman is asking, how do I deal with laziness? Laziness is my issue. I know the potential I have. The opportunities sometimes even come. But if I'm honest with myself, I'm just lazy. How do I break free from laziness?
That's a good question. And thank you for asking that, because a lot of us deal with that, but you're brave enough to ask that question. I think you are lazy because you have not figured out the fire to get you going. And what I mean by that is, you know what you're supposed to do, but you don't know why.
Ooh.
You are not clear about your why.
Yes.
Because I tell you, once you understand your why, you will not sleep. I just saw a clip just not too long ago about somebody saying, Pastor, if I give you $1 million, of course you take it. No questions asked. If I give you 10 million, you will take it. No question. Maybe you might ask 1 or 2 questions, like, do you want my life or not? But you will take it. But what if I said, I give you $10 million, but you don't get to wake up tomorrow? Would you take that money?
No.
Because essentially what we're saying is, as much as we love money, what we really value is the opportunity to live.
Yes.
Just one more day.
Yes.
And that is what should wake you up in the morning. I am ready to live just today. What could I do today? What is my why? What am I fired up today? That's what gets me up. I go run in the morning, I tell you, I don't like it. But I get up because if I can just run one more day and get to see my family, my children, I value it, I will take it. So figure out your why, figure out your purpose, figure out your fire. What's making you get up one more day? And purpose is that. Once you know why you're here, you will not waste time. Because you know you have a limited time to get it done. And the Bible says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Not well thought of, not well learned, not well experienced, well confident, well done. So get up, my friend, and do it. Or else I will find where you live. I'll come put fire on you. Do it.
Awesome.
Get up and do it.
Get up and do it. Just do it, my friend. Just do it. My time is up. Thank you so much, Dr. Bola, for being a part of this conversation. Several people are saying Dr. Bola is just amazing, very inspiring. Somebody else is saying, I need to bring you back more often. Well, we will. Thank you very much. Well, my time is up for today because we have to get into something shortly with Professor Ndete, but you have one more thing to say.
Yeah, let me share one more thing. For people who are saying more, I want more, let me just share my website.
Yes.
In case people want to get in touch with me, just go to www.mzimalife.com, MZIMA life.com. I'm also on Instagram on mzimalife.com, but I'm actually also giving people a free 45-minute strategy session for the person who's lazy, for the person who doesn't know their purpose, for the person who wants more. If you're feeling stuck, find me on www.mzimalife.com, book a free 45-minute strategy session. I will help you get up, harness, and just do it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, that's all the time we have for Mindshift Friday today. My friend, don't just look at the potential. Connect with purpose and be productive. Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.